It's another great time to talk about leadership, technology, and the future. And I'm your beautiful, awesome host, Kola Johnson. And this program is brought to you by Amogate Radio Communication, an arm of Amogate Consulting. So we are your partner when it comes to anything around training, anything consulting for your business, training, strategy, execution, any of these things. We are here for you to help your organization to move from point A to point B and to train your employees, to train them in aspects around emotional intelligence, strategy, implementation, or anything around that. And we have a platform called ASAF, which I will also talk about in the course of this program. So this is another time, like I said before, to talk about leadership, technology, and the future. So stick with me for this beautiful episode. And today the topic we want to look into is leading through transformation, how modern leaders harness technology for people, purpose, and progress. I'll say that again: leading through technology, how modern leaders harness technology for people, purpose, and progress. Before I go on, there's something I wanted to pick as a leader, or I want to stick to your heart as a budding leader or someone who is a leader in an organization. Every form of leadership is people focused. I'll say that again. Every form of leadership is people focused, or in a more positive light, every good leadership is people focused. And so when we talk about technology and people, we are looking at how technology can help us be better at what we do. I've talked about several things around AI, automation. I've talked about the machine intelligence, the use of the machine intelligence as it pertains to leader. I've talked about emotional intelligence as it pertains to the leader. And so you must know that whatever leadership that takes away people from the fore, that form of leadership is no longer leadership, it's something else. So leadership, people are at the heart of leadership, and so that is why we are emphasizing people, purpose, and progress, because behind every machine are the people that build those machines, and we need the heart of such builders. So let's go into the program, and I hope you are here again with your pen and paper to take notes and with your mind at alert. Like I said, this is the fourth installment for this last quarter, and I know you will enjoy it. The world is changing faster than ever before. I can tell you that. We should not be telling ourselves that, but we need to say that over and over again. You know what I mean? One of the measure of progress was how loud the machines were, right? If I put on a machine now, at a point, that was the measure of progress. Locomotive, that was the measure of progress. Today, progress hums quietly in servers, satellites, and circuits. And we have to see that progress is no longer about who makes the loudest noise. It's about who makes or who builds the most silent thing, So it's in servers, satellites, and in circuits. We've moved from the roar of engines to the rhythm of data, from mechanical strength to intelligent systems. And through it all, one thing remains constant. That is leadership. If we have machines and nobody to lead the way of those machines, we'll build a chaotic world, and we don't want that to happen. But I think we should ask this question. Let's ask this question. In a world where machines can think, data can predict, and systems can decide, what does it really mean to lead? At the heart of this program is this very question. What does it really mean to lead? Now that we have machines that think, data that predict, and systems that decide, what does it mean to be a leader in this kind of environment? Is it that, my friend, is the question at the heart of what we want to discuss today, like I said earlier. That is leading through transformation, how modern leaders harness technology for people, purpose, and progress. People must be governed by purpose, and purpose must be backed by progress. Purpose can be progressive. That is it. The moment we are living in now, leadership has always evolved with technology. In the moment now, we know that leadership has always evolved with technology. The printing press birthed communicators, the steam engine birthed industrialists, the microchip birthed digital pioneers, and now we live in the intelligent age. That is an era where artificial intelligence, data analytics, automation, and connectivity are redefining how we work, live, and even think. But while technology evolves fast, human adaptation often lags behind. That's the tension of our time. Again, Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, warned that the fourth industrial revolution is not just about technology, it's about the systems of life themselves. The fourth industrial revolution is not just about technology, it's about the systems of life themselves. It changes how we produce, how we learn, and even how we define success. And this is what Klaus Schwab was trying to say. And we must come to terms with this truth. We must come to terms with this fact. So here's the challenge, okay? Just be with me. Here's the challenge. Are today's leaders keeping pace with the transformation they claim to drive? So let's ask ourselves, let's leave this as a food for thought. Are today's leaders keeping pace with the transformation they claim to drive? Let's look into the leadership dilemma. All right, the leadership dilemma, and it's very important we look at stuff like this to help our mind. Let's be honest. Many organizations today are digitally equipped but leadership deficient. Digitally equipped, leadership deficient, and it's a pity. They have the technology but not the mindset. It's a wrong place to be. It's, in fact, in creativity we often say that the mind is more powerful than the tool. All right, because the mind will drive the tool, and so it is, so that we don't end up having a lot of technology, huge technology, but we don't have the mindset that can drive those tools. If not, we'll drive it anyhow, and it will be very chaotic. In 2025, leading in an AI World report that says that 88% of organizations say AI plays a major role in decision making, yet only 26% of organizations cite workforce over reliance on AI as their biggest concern. You see, that's a huge statistics. Here's another finding: 71% of executives admit that the pace of technology change exceeds their organization's ability to learn how to incorporate it into their operations. That's a staggering statistics, very staggering. Think about that for a moment. Yeah, just take a second to think about it. In a world powered by intelligence, most leaders are still operating in reaction mode, not transformation mode. So what's missing? We need to ask ourselves again. Today I'll be raising a lot of questions, so just bear with me. So what's missing? I don't think it's knowledge. I don't think knowledge is what is missing. I don't think it's necessarily funding. I think, by my estimation, it's leadership adaptation. All right, it's leadership adaptation. That is the ability to integrate technology into purpose, people, and progress. So it's within the confines of people, purpose, and progress. Very important. And let me take this time to say, like I said in the beginning, that we have a product called ASAF by Amogate. And I say, you see, this is the right tool for organizations to get clarity and strategic implementation of ideas. So you have an idea you want to implement. This is a product you want to get from us at Amogate, and then we also train you on how to use it. So you want to contact us on how to use this product. So let's move on. This is a very important topic that is dear to my heart, and I say let's ask the hard questions, right? Let's look at the hard questions, and just few of them, about 3 of them. Let me pose these 3 questions. Are we using technology? That's the first one. Are we using technology to empower people or to replace them? So I said, yes, this question is debatable in a way, and I think you feel so too, because fading roles, let's face the fact, they are fading roles. There was a point when typewriters, those who were typewriting machines, and those who were in that role were fading, and we are in that age now again. So there are fading roles, that should give way for higher value ones. All right, when typewriters were fading away, computers were emerging. So it is those who understand the role of the higher value skill that will take up the next thing that will lead in that sphere. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. So and yes, technology empower people, but in a way it replaces people, especially for those who don't know that where they are is called the fading role, and we should face that fact also. Some of those fading roles are being automated. It might not be a total change, but it could be an automation. And the second question I want us to look into is, are we using automation to create time for creativity or to squeeze out more efficiency? Think about that. The third one is, are our systems serving purpose or just profit? Think about that too.
Harmogate, founded in 2008 out of a desire to build transgenerational structures for organizations, institutions, and nations. We have worked with large businesses, international development organizations, and public sector ministries and agencies. Harmogate, our uniqueness is that we do not just work for you, we work with you. For example, we do not leave you to the task after sourcing talent that will help the new hire settle into robust leadership development programs. We are technical experts in advising and supporting institutions on strategy and leadership, artificial intelligence, strategic human resource management, public sector reform, finance, audit and tax, FAT, and strategic communications. We do all this and more out of a desire to transform nations through institutions and organizations. For further inquiries, email contact@theharmogate.org or call +234 810 999 6666, +234 807 957 4151, and +161 0504 6026. www.theharmogate.org. Harmogate, building to endure and transforming nations through institutions and organizations.
From vision to execution, building future-ready and innovative-driven organizations. So, come closer. We have a very important topic to talk about, and we'll explore what vision really is, how leadership has evolved from the steam engine to artificial intelligence. We've been talking about this for a while, and how organizations build lasting visions and scale globally. And we want to look at how to validate feasibility, and crucially, how leaders make their organization future ready and genuinely innovate. I will bring in findings from verified research so you can test these ideas in practice. So whatever we are doing, we're going to be talking in different light, and I want you to just sit down and have a good ride with me. This program is going to be a power pack program, insightful, and it will bring so much knowledge for you, so that we are not just vision driven people. Yes, it's good to be visionary, but it's more important that we know how to execute this vision. And it's good to be innovative, but it's also good to understand how feasible an innovation is, so that you are not just innovating something that the society does not really need. You see, when you are building business, as a matter of fact, one of the things you must understand is, how do you then innovate in a manner that validates that product you are trying to build, or that business you are trying to build. And that's what feasibility study does to your business. And before we go on, I would like to tell you about Amogate Consulting, because this program is on Amogate Radio Communication, a branch of Amogate Consulting. And at Amogate Consulting, we are the bridge between your company's vision and execution. So we are so much big on execution, we are so big on strategy, because we understand that these two things are a very important tool in any business: vision, strategy, but importantly execution. You have the vision, we can clarify it for you and see you through the execution phase. So we don't just tell you this is how you can execute. We walk you through it, we hold your hand through it, because we believe that vision is good but execution is king. So ride with me as we continue this program. What is vision? What is vision? And what does it do? What does it do? Why do you need vision? What is vision? What does it do to you? I like to start with something very simple, and that is answering the question of what is vision. In everyday terms, vision is clear picture of a desired future state. A clear picture of a desired future state. That is a description of where an organization intends to be and why that future matters. It is directive, it points everyone in the same direction, and motivational. It helps people commit to something bigger than their day-to-day task. So vision is like what you place before you. Vision is like a bull's eye you place before you, and you are walking the path towards, everybody can align towards that particular bull's eye. That's what vision is. So vision is very important because it gives you clarity of direction, it gives you proper direction for your life. So you see, even as an individual, you need a vision for your life. I can't stress that enough, not to talk of you as a leader. You as the leader must provide vision, and after providing the vision, you must drive everybody towards that vision. As a matter of fact, if your vision is clear enough, everybody in the organization will follow, because humans by nature will like to see a goal and to put in all our energy to achieving that goal. When vision is well crafted, it is both inspiring and credible. It doesn't float in the cloud. It has anchors, beliefs, priorities, and the first practical step that make it believable. So, and that is why you remember when I started, I talked about feasibility study. That so that you don't just have a vision, it must be believable. So that you don't just say, oh, I will do this, it must be believable. And that means there are practical steps towards achieving that same vision. You have practical steps that will help you achieve that same vision. Research into organizational strategy and agility shows that vision works as a north star. It focuses decisions, helps allocate scarce resources, and aligns teams across complexity. And this is very important, very, very important, very important. Think about that for a moment. Think about that for a moment. Vision isn't wishful thinking. It's a hypothesis about the future that you intend to test and build towards. It's a hypothesis towards about the future that you intend to test and build towards. You see now, so when we talk about vision, don't think of something like a wishful thinking. Oh, I wish. Like they say, if wishes were horses, every other person will ride on them, But you see, vision is not wishful thinking. As a matter of fact, the process of crafting a vision is so much work on its own. It's so much work on its own. That process of crafting a vision, it is so much work, I know you really want to take your time to build a vision. In that sense, you really want to take your time to build that vision. And let's look into the issues of, I want to briefly talk about agricultural market. The agricultural market, very powerful thing I want to talk about here. The agricultural market, and I want to look at industrial production and networked platforms and autonomous ecosystem. So just follow this program. It's a very important program. I mean, it's very interesting and it will cause a shift in your life. So just let's go on. If we look at economic history through a different lens, we can trace four broad waves of organizational architecture and leadership demand, each of them reshaping what kind of leadership and system succeed. Leadership and systems succeed. You see that now. So, and that is what we want to look at now. And the first one is agricultural market era. That's pre-industrial revolution, but majorly agricultural market era. In this phase, economies were local, production was manual and small scale, trade was regional, and leadership was based on direct supervision of labor, close knowledge of the land or craft, and incremental improvement. Organizations, villages, guilds, family farms operated under stable, predictable condition. What does that tell you? The times are changing. If you look at the agricultural system today, it is not the same. It is not the same, and that's why we looked at the pre-industrial era, what agricultural economy or the market looked like in those times. You see, it is more individualistic again, very individualistic, because supervision have to be made on the supervisor needs to be on ground, and that takes a lot of time. And two is the industrial production era. This era shifted to large-scale manufacturing, standardized output, hierarchical structures, centralized decision making, and process engineering. Leadership emphasized efficiency, throughput, repeatability, cost control. For example, business process re-engineering and mass production paradigms dominated. That's what happened in those times. Organizations were rewarded for mastery of process, scale, and output. That was how it was in those times. Mastery of process, skill and output. And the third one, we have the networked platform era, which is the 21st century. With the rise of computers, this came with the rise of computers, internet, and digital connectivity. The emphasis moved from mass production to networks, data flows, platforms, and service models. You see, let me just revisit that again, or let me say it in this manner. So it was not much about what we had as improved mastery of process and skill in those times. It is now more about networks, about data flows, about platforms and service models. Leadership became about managing interconnections, ecosystems, information, and rapid iteration. Organizations that held large networks and could scale platforms thrived. That was how they thrived in those times. Research on agile transformation and dynamic system highlight that business model shifted from rigid push production to fluid responsive models. So this looks like what you know, right? I understand. It sounds like what I know too. And the fourth one is the autonomous ecosystem era, which is today and going forward. And that's why this topic is looking at the future, and this is the emphasis. Autonomous ecosystem era. We now enter a world of dense connectivity, automation, artificial intelligence, decentralized decision making, and autonomous systems. Leadership must now deal with ecosystems of machines and humans, continuous learning, safe experimentation, and fluid teams rather than fixed hierarchies. And again, before I continue, Amogate, at Amogate, we help you transform your organization from local to global outlook, one strategy at a time and one execution at a time. We are just a call away. You can reach out to us on any of our platform, across, and let us know what we can do for you or what we can do for your business. As I begin to bring this to a close, I want to look to leading through transformation. I want to close with a few final thoughts. The world moved from visible machines to invisible systems. That shift forced leaders to change what matters. from commanding resources to guiding learning, from standardization to adaptation, from controlling people to enabling talent and judgment. The research across agility and innovation literature consistently shows that organizations that connect vision with capability building, experimentation, and culture outperform those that rely solely on plans or slogans. Slogans are not just it anymore, or plans. You must, there are certain things you must do in that sense. If you want one sentence to take away, vision without capability is hope. Capability without vision is aimless. Vision plus capability plus disciplined experiment is equal to lasting impact. I want you to take that home. I want to appreciate you for staying with me on this powerful program. My name is Kola Johnson. If today's conversation resonates with you, try one of the checklists I outlined. Try it, and you will see the turnover in your organization, in your business, and even your personal life as it is. And this is Amogate Radio Communication. I want to thank you for staying with me. Next week we'll be here again doing the same thing and moving our conversation in another direction, and that will help you as a person. Thank you for staying with me. See you next week again on this program.